Professor,
Yeah.
so what do we have to do at this moment?
Right now I will start. Right now. Right now I will start. I will tell you everything.
I thought you gave us a task already.
No, no, no. Start first by demonstrating what is the meaning of the business research. See the components of the business research. You need to be very focused on the board. You need to be very, very focused on the board, please. We need a very focus of you guys on the board because it's all components of a business research. Each part deliver to the second part. And that's what we will work upon right now. Okay, guys. My dears, here it will show up right now to you components of business research. Our work today is the components of business research. Very important. Please, please pay attention here. Please pay attention. Take your notes, take a pen, and write down what I would say right now. The business research is done basically for studying a relationship between variables. The business research is done to study the relationship between variables. Those variables, we have one variable that is called the independent, and the other variable is called the dependent. So usually the business research is to study a relationship between different variables. Okay. I choose for you today a research from the Journal of Business Research. Like you see here, Journal of Business Research.
What we have to write right now?
Just what I will tell you, the components. Be with me one by one. Okay. Here, the first part is the label or the name of the research. So you will write the name of the research. The components. We are now on the components of the business research. The name of the research. What is the name of this research? The effect of local institutions on the competitive strategies of exporters. Then where he applied the case of emerging economics in Latin America. So the first thing is writing the label or the title of this research. Okay, then we have the authors, the people who contribute together, their names: George A., Herdia Perez, Christian Gildiz, Martin Conk, and Alejandro Flores. So these are the people who contribute or who did this research. This is the second piece. Okay, guys. Now, we started with the name of the research. I will stop here on the piece of the name or the title of the research. The title must reflect what inside the research. So the title must be handling the problem of the research. Again, the title must be handling the problem of the research. By other meaning, what is this research about? We have always, any research, study the relationship between variables. Any research study the relationship between variables. We have actually two types of variables: independent variable, which affect, and dependent variable, which is affected. As example, if I tell you the relationship between, wait a minute, if I tell you like this now, the relationship between the temperature and the sales of the ice cream, the temperature and the sales of the ice cream, you will tell me logically When the temperature go high, the sales of the ice cream will go high. When the temperature go down, the sales of the ice cream will go down, right? Which one is affecting the other? The temperature is affecting on the sales of the ice cream, but not the opposite. The temperature, we call it independent variable, independent. But the ice cream, we call it dependent. Why? Because it depends on the temperature. You guys got me?
Yeah.
Okay. Here also, see the effect of local institutions on competitive strategies of exporters. Look at this. The local institutions is the one who will affect on the strategies of the exporters. Again, the local institutions with its own whatever, it will affect on the strategies which the exporters use. But this is in Latin America. Clear, my dears? Have two things. One independent variable, and this independent variable will affect on the dependent variable. Remember, the temperature is independent variable and the ice cream is dependent variable. Am I clear till the moment? All clear, my dears? Okay. Now, the second, we said the first thing in the business research is the title. The title. And the title here, like I said, this title must reflect what is inside the research itself. It must be handling the problem of the research. The second part of the paperwork or the research is, we call it the abstract. You guys can see this abstract. What is the abstract? Because you guys will make a research. You will make your project, you have 40%, 40 marks for making a research. For that reason, you have to know everything about the research. The abstract is short notes, and usually it's written in font, smaller font than the research itself. If you see here, as example, sorry about that. If you see here this word paper, you find it less in the font than the word exporting. The font is lower, less. Usually, the abstracts, this is the abstract, which I highlighted, this part. Usually, the abstract is handling in brief, concise, very concise for the issue of the research itself. Sometimes they write inside the findings. For that reason, they make the abstract after they finish the research. The findings are here as well. Sometimes they won't make it bold with thick. So the font is less and it's bold. You know what's the meaning of bold? You press on B, on the letter B. So it's bold. Some researchers, they bold it. Some researchers, they don't bold it. Okay.
So what is the standard though? What is the standard for the abstract itself?
8, font 8, font 8 here, and font 12 here or 14. So here 8, here 14. And if you want to just a style, is Time New Romance. Usually we use Time New Romance when we work in Word. Then after that, you can switch it into PDF, from Word into PDF. Okay. This paper, look at this now. Let us see what's the abstract. This paper analyzed the effect of institutional and market orientation on the export performance of Latin American firms when they implement generic competitive strategies. A specific, look at this, what he did in the research. He's writing in brief what he did in the research or what the authors did together in this research. A specific questionnaire, you know the meaning of questionnaire? Asking questions. Sent to 201 executives exporting, manufacturing, or service companies in Brazil, Chile, Mexico, and Peru. Generates the data for this research. Then, confirmatory factors analysis is used to develop the underlying of multi-item constructs. and structure equations, model, test the hypothesis. The hypotheses are the reason why. Guessing what are the reasons for the problem. Like I will say right now, hypothesis means cause and effect relationship. Hypothesis like what? When you wake up in the morning and you run your car, it doesn't want to work. Then you might say this might be a problem in electricity. Sparks, maybe. There might be no oil in the car, no gas in the car. So you put assumptions. Those are, we call it hypothesis. One of them is the reason, or maybe two, but not all of them are the reasons. If you have headache, you might say to yourself, this headache because I didn't sleep very well, this headache because I'm tired, this headache because of walking in the sun, I was exhausted, this headache maybe because I have constipation, this headache because I need to change the glasses. There might be a reason. So hypothesis is a reason why. But still, you are testing to check, because the headache will not because of all these reasons. There might be one reason only for the headache. Or maybe two, but not all of them. For that reason, that's the meaning of hypothesis. Hypothesis is just a guess. What caused this problem?
So sometimes the situation are pretty connected with each other.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking about the hypothesis, if you have something reason, but there's a reason behind the reason.
This is, we call it intermediate variable. So something pushed to another reason, and this reason pushed to this problem. It's called intermediate, means in the middle, intermediate variable. Okay, guys? What I want to show you something. He also, look at this, look at the last line. The finding suggests the firm with differentiation strategies benefit from strong local institutions. He wrote the findings. That means this abstract is done after the thesis is finished. It is the last thing to be done, but it's the first thing after the title. You guys got me?
Yes.
We put it because it's including the findings. Findings means what you came to, the results. The results.
Yeah, in high school we also do about this stuff like abstract after in English, like after the something like acid or something, we have to write the abstract about that something in like in precise way, in like what we had.
Exactly, in precise,
Yeah.
and including the findings, what you came to. So you will just demonstrate the problem in very brief, and what are the findings. Yeah, as example, a doctor made a survey about a reason for the breast cancer in ladies. And he found that the breast, as example, breast cancer is used due to the ladies who are exposed more to the fluorescent, are more exposed to have breast cancer. As example, I'm just saying, then he will write it in the abstract. He's finding in brief, but inside there will be details. Okay, guys? Okay.
So what should we write in the abstract now?
Yeah, the abstract is just a synopsis for the research. It's concise, like what you said, or precise for the whole research. The start, the sampling, how he did the sampling, and I will talk about the sampling later. He chose how many units to apply his own research, and very brief about the findings. Usually it takes like around 7-8 lines. The font is 8 and bold, and it's different than the font of the research. The font of the research, 12 to 14, 12 or 14, Times New Roman. But here, 8 and bold. Why we do the abstract? Why?
To give the overview for the whole research itself.
Exactly. Some people do not have time to go for the details. So I will show, as example, I want to see, I'm writing about another reason that cause cancer breast or breast cancer. I just want to see another reason. So I will check out what this guy said here, and another guy, what he said, and another guy, what he said. Then I will compare all this together in something we call it literature studies. Okay, we will come now to the literature studies.
I have a question. So can we write the abstract as a third person?
The abstract, like,
As a
yeah,
third
yes, yes, in third person. Yeah. The researcher found that you can, yes. You can say like this. Usually it's the third person, third party. No one said, I found that, we found that, nothing like this. The research represent, or you talk about the research that it's a independent piece. Like here as example, like here, the findings suggest, he didn't talk about, he said, we find. He said the findings suggest that the firm, you see, it's in the third party already, Mudra. Exactly, sir. Okay. The next part of the abstract, and he gave it number 1. You see, he gave it number 1, introduction. So all these without numbers, starting to number the components of the abstract from here, introduction. In the introduction part, this you will talk about the issue or the problem. You will say the dimensions of the problem, around the problem, things surrounding it, if there is a problem in the export or whatever. And he also added some previous studies about this problem. Yeah, historical problems. Most research is about exporting is done in developed economies, considering external and internal factors such as blah, blah, blah. And what is this? Al-Ulak, Ital, are the people who wrote these researches. These are these researches. Ital means with another people. E-T-A-L means there are another people also share with him doing these researches. Young, Ital means young and another people. Carneo, Ital means Carneo and another people, and so on. So this is the, and also he classified the groups which handle the problem. He classified them into groups. Groups are, this is the first group in blue. The second group, another group in blue, handle the problem from another issue or the issue from another aspect, and so on. So here I will highlight why I am talking about the research. Okay. Also, it's concluding some literature studies here. That's fine. You can also don't add literature studies in this part, and you can just talk about the problem of handling what you are handling here in this issue. Okay.
In your introduction, there's also like the strategies they are talking about.
Yes.
The strategies what we have.
You talk in detail about, yeah, about what the point which you will handle.
What we will do in the
Exactly. Implementation of a competitive strategy. Here he will start to talk also about the group of researchers who started the implementation of the competitive. Yes, second component here. Yeah. Second, because you second here, the second is theoretical framework, and he divided into 2.1. So two here is the theoretical studies, or you can say it, guys, theoretical or literature studies. Some researches you will find this word literature studies. Some researches you will find it literature studies. Then here, implementation of competitive strategies, he divided in 2.1. He put H1 or hypothesis 1. Differentiation strategies employ market orientation compared with cost-based strategies in Latin America. Then he said there are 2 perspectives, and he went to explain them. Here is how his own research worked. H means hypothesis. And I said right now, hypothesis is a reason and cause and effect relationship. Hypothesis means you guess what is the reason for the problem. What is the reason for the problem? So here I would use example, hypothesis 1 and 2. They both affect like differentiation strategies and cost base, and they affect about marketing orientation. Meanwhile, also local institutions affect about the marketing orientation. But wait a minute. The market orientation and cost-based and local institution will affect about the export performance. You guys got me? So these are the hypotheses. The arrows means the cause and the effect. So local institutions will affect the export performance. Differentiation strategies will affect the export performance. Cost-based leadership strategy will affect the export performance. Market orientation will affect the export performance. Clear, my dears?
Yes.
Then, this is what you were saying now, the intermediate variable. So the export performance is an intermediate variable. It will affect the financial. The export performance, of course, it will affect the financial performance, and it will affect the product performance, and it will affect the customer performance. So that is what we say the intermediate variable means variable in the way that goes to the problem. Variable, intermediate variable means in the middle. Like you see here, H1 and H2 means hypothesis 1 and hypothesis 2. H3 means hypothesis 2. We said the hypothesis, again, I'm saying, is cause-effect relationship. Then he went also for, this is not imperative studies, not experiment study. Experiment means I will ask people and collect info. He's just putting the theoretical studies, classifying the theoretical studies into groups. And each group, he say, this cast or this group, they talk about this point. This group, they talk about this point, and so on. Here now, time came for the third point. What is the third point? To check the data and the way he will gather the information, how he will get the data, and how he will deal with the data, how he will use, what statistic means he will use to classify or analyze the data, what he will use here. Guys, let us say that I have a hypothesis that 70% of the people in this area are afternoon active. Afternoon active means they sleep all day long. Let's say like this. Now, I have to experiment to see the data, how I will collect the data. I will go and check the people are sleeping or not, right? And I will check, as example, I will take sample, not all the people here in the area. I will take samples. So I will say, as example, I will go to this building and take 2-3 apartments in this building and check out the people. Are they awake or sleeping till the afternoon, right? And now I will see. I saw the sample of 100%. 70% out of the 100 were sleeping till the afternoon. That means 70% of the sample were sleeping till the afternoon. So as example, 70% of the sample sleeping till the afternoon. So I can say that this area, yes, I can generalize. I can generalize. You guys got me? But of course, I want to tell you one thing. The sample, small sample, is not enough to represent the whole population. We call it population or universe. We have sample and we have population or universe. The sample must be great enough to represent the universe. I'm going to study now on the students of Stanford. I will study, okay, the performance of the students of Stanford. If I just studied 4 students' performance and their grades, it's not enough. Stanford is including more than 2,000 students. So the sample must be large enough to represent these 2,000 students. There are ways and formulas to calculate the sample as well. Okay, data and the methodology, sample data and data collection. Here, he will talk about how he will collect the data. We have usually two types of data, like I told you before. We have primary data and secondary data. Secondary data is in the books, the magazines, the periodicals, all this. The primary data is only through the questionnaire and collective argument. We talk with the people, negotiation or group discussion. We call it group discussion. Survey, questionnaire, group discussion. Okay? And some deep meetings as well. If I'm studying, as example, something which needs a kind of secrecy or a kind of private, like effects of kind of medicine on the manhood or the men, I want to study the tablets, these tablets affecting men or no. Of course, this will be a close with a group of people, and this group is like it's like a deep conversation and takes a figure of private. So here the sample and the data collection, how he will collect the data and how we will analyze the data, how we will analyze it, what we will use. There are a lot of many statistical means. Like I will show you here in this course, we have many ways to analyze the data. When I tell you 7 out of 10 were sleeping, this is very simple. Means 70% means we use the ratio here. There are a lot of ways also. There are a lot of ways also to recognize the data and the data size and the volume or size of the populations. We collected the data. We collected the data now. The fourth step is the results or finding. Step 4 is the results or finding. Here, I will say, like what I said just now, 70% of the sample were afternoon active. So that's what I say. I will sum this information. I will sum it to get findings from that. But wait a minute. I am applying now on the sample. But I will use the approach of what will apply on the sample will apply on the population. So I will say the characteristics in the sample will be shifted into the whole population. You guys got me? Okay. If I'm studying what affect the performance of the students in Stanford, what affect the performance of the students in Stanford? Now, I put 3 hypotheses: the work, the distance, because they are in Brampton, they spend 6 hours back and forth to go and come, and the teacher's performance with them. 80% of the students said their performance in study is affected because they do 2 shifts. 60% of the students said because of this. That means that the major factor that affecting the students' performance is that they do 2 shifts and they are always exhausted and they cannot find time to study. So here, this is the finding. Okay, can I check? I have 2,000 students in Stanford. Can I do this study, experimental study, on 5 students? No. The larger the sample I will choose, the better it will represent the characteristics of the population. What is the population? All the students of Stanford. What is the sample? The people which I would ask. How far? At least from 200 to 300 sample units, students. Okay?
So in simple words, we can say that larger the sample is, the answer would be more accurate.
Exactly. The larger the sample, the better that it represents the characteristics of the population. Yeah. The more the sample, the precise the results. A small sample will never represent. Guys, simply guys, a village. In this village, a thief, 1 or 2 thieves. That means that the whole village are thieves? No. No. So this is the meaning of it. Sample, the greater the sum, thief. If I said there is a thief here, or a crime, a guy who commit crimes, 2 in a village, that means that the whole village is no. So the sample, when it's growing, it's a large sample, can represent the whole population of that area. Okay. Why I am doing, hello? Why I am getting the findings? Exactly like the doctor. Exactly like the doctor. Exactly like the doctor. I'm getting the findings because I have a problem and I want to solve the problem. Consequently, I will look for the solutions of the problem. I'm here to look for the solutions of the problem. Again, I will say, so if the step 4 is findings or discussion or results, they say finding, results, conclusion. Then the 5th step should be recommendation. Exactly like when you go to the doctor, he knew that you have a problem. He must give you a remedy. He must give you a prescription. Same thing likewise. So here, I will go for discussion and the implications. Those are the results. Then, based on the results, conclusion and future researches, where I will put my own recommendations. This problem, guys, is not a big problem here, but there are some problems, some researches, which including problems, and we need to fix it by giving recommendations. So most of the researches, there will be recommendations. Here are the references which he used in the research. Like here now, references. Can you see, guys, the references? How do we write the reference? Usually we start with writing the name, the author name, then the title, So the author name here, sorry about that. Let's go back to it. So as example, the author name, let me get any periodical from these periodicals, except all. Okay, it's not a big deal, no problem. So if I want, as example, to see how to write the references, let's go here, or view PDF, Science Direct. This is another review, and this is another research. Here we go, guys. And I just want to increase it more, so you can see properly. Here, my dears, are the names of the authors. Let us take this one. Rangsethong, R, Mayer, K.E., and Roth, A.S., 2017. The name, like you see here, the name. Let's go like this now. I think that, can you see, guys? Guys, can you see it? Okay, check any name. Here, I will take this one. Porter M, 1985. Technology and competitive advantage. So this was the title, Technology and Competitive Advantage. The name first, the name of the author, then the title of the research, the name of the research, then the source of the research, Journal of Business Strategy. Then here is the website, because he got it from documenting, from where he got it. Another one, Let us see another one. Ping M. Wang D. and Jiang Y. That was in 2008. An institution-based view of international business strategy. This is the name of the title. So first the name of the author, then the name of the title, between them, comma, between them. Then here is the name and the source. What is the source? Journal of International Business Studies. This is the volume 39, and the pages is from 920 to 936. Then he put also where he got it, the website from where he got this research. So again, I'm saying, when I write, document, a reference, I start with the name, Osama Kashwar. Then the title, the effect of job alienation upon job commitment. Then I will say the source. I got it from where? Journal of Business, Harvard Business Review. Then the pages, from page, I got it from a big volume. Pages from 56 to 58. And the volume as well. So if the volume is there, the volume, then the pages. Can I write it to you here? Shall I write it to you here, guys? Okay. Give me 1 sec. So that you won't forget how to document writing any reference. So here we go, guys. Let's say like this. Osama Kashwar. Osama Kashwar. Okay. If there was another authors with me, we make like this. ETAL.com. So if there is another people, etal means there is another people. Then I would say the impact, the name of the study or the research, the impact of job alienation. Job alienation means that you feel stranger in the world. Upon productivity, productivity. Then I took this from where? Harvard Business Review. If there is volume, yes, volume 5. And the pages, PP. PP means from page to page. PP 31 to 38. But if you take it from one page only, then don't write PP, just write P. Okay? Then the year. Some new attendance now or streams put the year in the start after the name, like what you saw here. Then some also, because of the using the websites now, at the end they put the website. So if you take it from a website, put it also there. But this is how it works always, whenever there is any references and any reference. Those are the main components of any business research. Those are the main components of any business research. That's what I just showed you. Any question, guys? Any question so far?
Just one. So your first name is Osama, right? So generally we write our
family name.
First,
Family
right?
name. You can start with the first. You can start with the list. Yeah, you can start with the first, but preferably to start with the list. Yeah, in the Western, but in the Eastern society, we start with the.
So basically, MLA and APA has the different format in it, right?
Yeah.
So which one should we follow for this course?
Like you want to say about the family name first, or which one? I didn't get the question,
I was
Madran.
asking you,
Yeah.
what should we use? What would be your preference in it?
You start with the family name, no problem.
Okay.
Start with the family name. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Any questions so far, guys? We'll see also the sampling, how we will determine the sampling, how we will determine. Those are things which we take, and we'll see every one of these will cut it pieces and take some parts. But I want to also in the start itself to have a general inclusive. So I brought for you a real research to see the components of real research. It doesn't go further than this. Sometimes more steps, details, but it goes in these sometimes different names, sometimes different instead of introduction literature studies. You guys got me? Results, findings. We use the word findings or the word results. Okay, my dears? Yeah, best case. Clear, everyone? Clear, my dears? Okay. Shall I go for a break now?